150 injured in the triple suicide bombing in Istanbul. Turkey's Prime Minister says early indications suggest the Islamic State group is to blame. Welcome to the background of the main stories this hour. This final EU summit, David Cameron says Britain cannot enjoy the benefits without taking on some of the costs.
I'm Karen Giannoni here in Brussels for day 2 of that summit, but it's going to be the 27 other heads of government meeting without David Cameron discussing the practical implications of that Brexit vote.
Hello, I'm Sally Bundle with the business story. So, as David Cameron leaves Brussels, we weigh up what Brexit means for one of the Euro's weak links, that being France. And another embarrassing recall for Toyota in the US. This time it's a possible airbag-inflated defect. Nearly 500,000 cars are affected.
At least 36 people have been killed in a bomb attack at Istanbul's Ataturk International Airport. Almost 150 others have been injured. It's thought 3 suicide bombers carried out the attack at Turkey's main airport just after 9 p.m. on Tuesday evening. Turkish officials say police fired at 2 of the attackers who then detonated explosives at the entrance of the international arrivals terminal. The third blew himself up in a parking lot. It's just gone 8 o'clock in Istanbul. World leaders, they have condemned the attacks, and this is seen live at the airport. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has called for a joint fight against terrorism. Tom Duncan reports.
This footage shows the moment Istanbul's Ataturk airport was hit by a coordinated and deadly attack. 3 suicide bombers stormed the busy international terminal, one reportedly opening fire with a Kalashnikov machine gun and detonating a device after being shot by police. The Turkish Prime Minister has now blamed the so-called Islamic State group for the assault.
The first findings from our security officials are that the terrorist attack was carried out by Daesh. But the investigation is ongoing. The airport is now functional again.
Eyewitnesses who were in the terminal described how the situation unfolded.
When I was in there, people were shooting on one side, and we all ran the other way, and then the bombs went off. And people were starting running away, there's more shooting. And we came out, and after that, I think there was another bomb.
They were shooting at the police, and the police were shooting at them. Someone next to us got shot. Then we saw the bomb in the X-ray machine explode. Everybody around it died in that blast.
Outside the terminal, police quickly secured a perimeter while the injured lay waiting for help. This is one of the busiest airports in Europe. More than 61 million passengers passed through here last year. The volume of passengers making it a vulnerable target, and many now say the authorities were unprepared for an assault of this scale. Turkish officials say many were killed here and many more injured. Taxis were needed to help ambulances rush people to hospital. Anxious relatives made to wait outside for any information about their loved ones. I've come here to find out about my mother, but we were unable to get any information. We called the Ministry of Public Health, and they were not able to tell us anything. We know they're treating patients inside, but we can't just stand still here. We are in big distress. They should tell us something. Turkey has been hit by a wave of recent attacks. Just this year, several have been blamed on either Kurdish separatists or the so-called Islamic State group. The country's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has been heavily criticized for not doing enough to tackle the threats his country faces. He has condemned the attack, calling for a joint fight against terrorism with international partners. But after the events here, many are left wondering what he can do to improve the security situation in Turkey, a country which sits strategically in what is becoming an ever-volatile region. Tom Duncan, BBC News.
The BBC sitting directors in Istanbul. City, has there been any new information coming out overnight?
Overnight we have learned the latest of death toll, which is dead now stands at 36 and there are over 140 injured.
as you have mentioned in that report we've seen, the Prime Minister says the early signs actually are pointing to an Islamic State involvement, but no group has yet claimed responsibility of the attack. We have to remember that Turkey, especially Istanbul and the capital city Ankara, have seen similar terror attacks in the past year. Actually, more than 8 major bombings have taken place in these two cities, killing over 250 people. Now, this attack targeting Atatürk Airport yesterday has become one of the most serious terror attacks taking place in this country, because an airport was struck, which tells a lot about airport security, and of course which is harming for the tourism sector in this country as well.
What does it do to the social dynamic of Turkish society? Your country has more refugees than any other in the world. If this is Islamic State, are refugees being blamed, or are they thinking that militants are crossing the border from Syria to launch these attacks?
Well, the early signs, as I said, are pointing to Islamic State, and there are reports suggesting that these were actually foreign nationals, not necessarily Syrian, but coming from, for instance, Chechen nationals, some reports suggest. So if that is the case, the targets or the public will not be targeting Syrian nationals living in the country. Of course, people feel edgy, but bear in mind, Turkey already hosts over 2.5 million Syrian refugees, and no major tension has taken place in this country whatsoever. So Turkish people have been overwhelmingly welcoming towards the Syrian refugees. Of course, this could be such a major turning point, considering it has taken so many lives, and considering it has posed such a big threat. But still, we can't suspect that the attitude of the Turkish people will change towards Syrian nationals. Of course, the opposition is accusing the Turkish government for not taking enough precautions, for actually allegedly helping the Syrian rebels across the border, and actually making Turkey a more vulnerable state in the face of such terror attacks.
Celine, thank you very much indeed. Celine Garrett in Istanbul for us. So go to the BBC website for all the latest developments, bbc.com/news. You can also download the BBC News app. You'll find everything that you need there on this story. That is a picture of Mark Lowen, our correspondent in Turkey, who was on a plane on the tarmac just after the attacks happened. So you can get his analysis as well. David Cameron has told European leaders in Brussels that he lost